Live. Alright, I want to say hello to everybody and welcome to the YouTube Mall Builders Thursday Night General Hangout. Thursday night hangouts are for the general discussion of mall railroading that we all can set a topic to discuss for the night. Ask questions. If you got a problem with something, hopefully somebody on the panel will be able to answer it. My name's Johnny Reb, Southeast Rails. I'm the moderator for tonight. Thursday night hangouts are the proud sponsor of the YouTubeMallBuilders.com, YouTube Mall Builders community, the magazine, and the YouTube Mall Builders live show, and also the YouTube Mall Builders Big Bill contest. If you are smoking or drinking alcoholic beverage, we do ask that you turn your camera off, please, and keep your mics muted to help restrict the echoes and background noise that might occur from time to time. So, if you're working on the layout, going to use the drill, hammer, or whatever, please mute your mic before you do that. Alrighty, so let's see, get this stopped. Alright, I should be back up now. Yes, start out. We had one of our members, Dave, out west there. He did a poll last week on starting a community for JMRI, for beginners and advanced people. And I just wanted to mention that so that if anybody was interested in that new JMRI rather well, that would be interested in possibly doing videos. He wants to try and get something going so that we'll have videos up from the very beginning when you load the software, how to set it up, what kind of things you need to change in it to get it to work like you want, how to get it started up right, and then advance on through to how to use the different features of the JMRI. So if anybody's interested, you might want.
I'll reach out to him, but there's a couple of things that I have already figured out, like how to set startups to make it automatically launch the Y throttle. That'd be interesting. I also had to figure out how to install it on Linux because that's not as straightforward as anything else. But I have figured that out. I wouldn't care to sit down and cut a video on that. I mean, I haven't done a lot of video work, so I'm not an old pro.
Yeah. Well, get a hold of Dave. He wants to start out, at the very beginning of it first, and on how to get it all set up. So, if you figured out how to do it on Linux too, that would be interesting. Get a video on that too. That'd be very helpful because one of these days I'll rebuild my Linux box and get back to using it more than this one.
Well, I mean, I think it has a certain, it runs pretty good on Linux anyway, and it's really easy for you to scavenge an old computer, throw Linux on it. Linux runs better on older equipment than Windows. You could use a weaker machine and run Linux, and then you can also get these little Raspberry Pi things. So there's a lot of choices with Linux running JMRI, but it's not as straightforward. So
yeah.
But it is a good thing, and I am a believer that a dedicated machine for your railroad is a pretty good investment. Have a computer for browsing the web. Have your normal computer that you collect viruses on or whatever, and and a computer that does your railroad. That way you don't screw it up. And if you, like me, I depend on the computer to run my railroad. I can't run it without it. So
yeah,
dedicated computer is not a bad investment. Jimmy bought one. Bought a dedicated laptop just for the railroad room.
I've got one.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, good idea. Have a separate machine dedicated to it. It's not that expensive to do.
Yeah, I got an old laptop. That's what I was thinking about doing with it.
Yeah, it's all you
have to buy a new battery for it because it won't run without battery.
No, it won't run without one at all. A lot of times you just plug it in the wall, forget it. You don't need the battery.
Yeah.
And for
this just went far enough back that once the battery dies, plugging it in the wall, it still won't work.
A battery's probably $30, man. I mean, that's not
not a
big expense for these days. I mean, unless it's some exotic or a lithium like the new ones. I mean, for an old laptop, $30 gets you a battery, $35, and you have a dedicated little machine for JMRI. Get it set up right, get it to where mine, this machine here. Also, I do Hangouts with it, but it is my JMRI machine, and it automatically, when it boots up, it automatically launches JMRI, it automatically launches Y-throttle, and the control panel web interfaces where all my control panels are, all of it comes up. So if I have to reboot or the power goes out, this thing comes back up, brings everything back up, and I have a dedicated wireless for the radio too. So I have a dedicated little wireless network that if you come over, I can give you access to. And the only things that are connected to that, this computer's wired, are I have an iPad Mini and 3 iPods for control aloud. That's it. Dedicated little network.
Yeah, I need to get together with you, Andy, and get you to give me that in an email, a program to that you wrote to get JMRI to work with the Linux.
Well, it's not. It's just a series of commands and stuff, and they actually have it. I'd be glad to help you first off, but of course, absolutely I will. And I'd like to do that video to where I can help some other people in one fell swoop. But I gladly help you run through it. They have a document on how to do it, but it's not exactly straightforward or perfect, and there's some little things that didn't go exactly right with the document, and I had to solve them. But I've been running Linux since 1995, so I'm pretty comfortable there. I mean, I'm a Mac guy these days, but only recently. I've been a Linux guy most of my life. And I think
Well,
Linux.
at least we don't have to write binary code.
Oh yeah, I wrote some assembly, but Linux as a JMRI dedicated machine, Linux is a great machine for running JMRI. You can even hook if you have a serial or a parallel printer port, you can even pull a couple wires out of there, run them up to servos or relays on your layout, and control a very small layout with nothing but JMRI and a few wires run from the back of your computer. Because you can actually JMRI supports triggering it from the parallel port. And you can do that with a Linux box really easily. And literally pull a few wires from the servo down and shove them in the little holes in the back of your computer if it's an old computer and has a serial or parallel port. And you can get started controlling the layout. I mean, you can't control a lot that way. I think you can only do, I don't know, maybe 8 or, no, you can't even do that many. It's like, 6 or something. If you have a small layout, that's enough to get you started.
Yeah,
What about using the Octopus? Plug
Oh,
it into a computer and then run the servos.
Oh, I unquestionably used to be buying cards. I just like to encourage people as cheap or with next to zero investment, you can play. You can get started doing it. And I'll tell you what, the moment you hook the first servo to the computer and control it with the computer JMRI, you will be buying boards and turning everything that way. But most people just want to see something in action before they spend much money on it. I like the Octopus and even the servlets. The dedicated little servlet, all in one little package.
Yeah, the singlet.
Yeah, the singlet. No, that's right, not the servlet. The singlet. I got a little hole cut out in the bottom of my layout right out of the turnout, and the servo and the whole turnout assembly that comes out of the turnout, one little module pops right out, pops straight up in, and all you do is feed power. Love simple.
Well, the best part about using the Linux is that you're not embedding it in the computer. Everything is on an overlay, so you can write, you can change, you can do anything you want with them.
Well, it's free. Number one, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's free.
It will take an older computer that, find somebody that has an old XP computer that they just bought a new one when they needed to get rid of XP. There's all kinds of those out there. Linux will take a computer that was built in the XP days and make it run like a scalded dog. And run JMRI fine. Now, on an older computer, the front end initially starting up on a slow computer does take a little bit, but once it's up and running, it works pretty good.
Andy, I must say I agree with you. Get a separate computer just for the system. I mean, any laptop will work.
Absolutely. Old desktop. It's going to save
yeah. I'd have to say running Windows 7 or Windows 8 is.
It'll run on XP.
Yeah, XP is good, but it's not quite as fast as what Windows 7 would be.
Yeah, Windows 7 is probably the best choice for a Windows system. Mine's all Mac, or I would use Linux. If you're gonna run Windows, I've run JMRI on XP on 7, and I've even run it on 8 for a little bit on a test system at the office playing with it. It runs the best on 7.
Yes, Windows 7. I highly recommend at least Windows 7 to go and operate with JMRI. It reads so much faster. XP is okay; it will read, but if you start getting inside the bigger layouts, you need something a little bit faster.
Oh
It's
yeah.
got so many problems. It's not supported anymore. There's viruses out there destroying it. Microsoft's not even writing fixes. If you have an XP computer, you need to do something with it. And for one thing, you can do is throw Linux on it for free. But Windows 7 is a good choice, and
Well,
Windows 10 is free.
once you dedicate it, you download it and get it offline, and you won't have to worry about any viruses or anything.
Yeah, if it's completely offline. Now, my JMRI system is the one I'm using to talk to you on. I mean, I've got my laptop here too, but I don't do much else with it. But I do the Hangouts on here, and I control the railroad JMRI, and I want it connected to the internet because I want, like I've told you, I want you guys to be able to hop on here and dispatch my railroad while I'm running trains or run trains with me over the internet. So I want it to be on the internet, but I don't do normal stuff with it. I'm not on Facebook on here. I'm not, I hop on Hangout, JMRI, or might watch YouTube on it. But other than that, it's dedicated to the railroad. But not 100%.
I want to jump in here real fast. For the viewers out there, if you would, on the Q&A, you can go to the very bottom of that and type in any questions you might have, and they'll pop up, and we can see what we can do to answer them. Questions, comments, All right, back to the regular program.
If your question is, why in the world did they let this Andy guy in here? Nobody's going to have a good answer for you, but any other questions we'll try to figure out. I don't know what they let me in here for either.
All right, question for the night. First question, just to get you guys going. If you're going to do a scratch build, or you just want to try and build some kind of building, you get bashing it, whatever, where do you go get ideas from?
It depends on what era and what era. Just go to, if you're looking for one particular type of building, find a town or whatever, go to Google Maps, go to Street View. You can pick out different buildings to actually get a view all the way around the building. Take old photographs and copy them. You can scale out a lot of different buildings. If you have your scales for whatever gauge you're in, it'll tell you how big the building has to be, and you can work with that. I go online and I search through about 9 different websites for different buildings and things, and I can print them out. I can scale them and put them in a PDF. And of course, I run them through a Cricut to cut them out, but you can just sit there with an X-Acto knife or so and cut your buildings out.
And I would also say, if it depends on, there's 2 things you can be looking for. If you're looking for inspiration, look at the prototypes that you like and find something you like. If you're looking for something that you've already got inspiration for, then my favorite source is looking for the real building first, and then finding something I can cut out. So and printing them off the internet, like Bill's saying, works real well. So I like the historic societies. They tend to have a lot of the railroad related buildings and stuff. And then small towns in my geographic area, their little historic societies have a lot of pictures that match my era. So that's a source I like to use.
Real quick before we get too deep into that, hey Marie, how you doing? Hadn't seen you in a hangout for a while. Glad to see you could get in here. Yeah, it's JMRI, but since Marie's a female, I guess she had to put the G up there. Girly MRI. That is a software for where you can use it to speed match trains, your locos, be able to set all your CVs. It makes it a lot easier. More advanced uses for controlling your layout, controlling the turnouts on the layout, set up to where you can run like the rail train where you got dispatchers and all directing trains. And you can also do an inventory on what you have, your rolling stock, your locomotives, and you can build trains through that software too. telling it what cars you want in certain trains, and they'll build you a car list. And then they'll build a switch list for switching those cars to different industries or whatever. And passenger trains that sets up a run for, excuse me, where they're going, what stations they'll hit, and all like that. It's real neat software. A lot of people like it because it makes it set in the CVs, the various settings on your decoder boards. Just makes that a lot easier to do than trying to do it, through your command module, on your cab, and having to do each CV one at a time. About get that right, Troy? Andy?
Yep.
Yeah. What does the J stand for again?
Java.
Java. Okay. Java Model Railroad Interface.
Yep.
Well, Marie turned it into girly Model Railroad Interface.
It's the same software. It's just a pink version.
And that's another thing. If you are using JMRI, somebody had made a comment, I don't know who it was, that you did not have to be online. Well, it's not necessarily true, because if you plan on using an external throttle, such as an iPhone or a tablet of some sort, it has to be connected through a Wi-Fi signal.
That can be dedicated too.
Yeah.
It would be online. Yes, you can dedicate, but
we were talking about that the other night, using a Wi-Fi to set your tablets and phones using an independent Wi-Fi without going online.
Yeah, don't necessarily have to have internet. I think you're probably going to want internet most of the time this day and age. I mean, what happens when you want to go update it and go download it? You don't want to go download it on a different computer and bring it to it. And I think you'll probably want internet, but I do think a dedicated wireless is a good idea if you're going to use if you're not going to use the throttles, maybe not. But I use a bunch of iPods, and a dedicated wireless for my radio is a very cheap thing to add a lot of performance and stability to the JMRI network.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, because JMRI is coming out with updates. I mean, to be honest, haven't seen any updates until just recently. We've actually had 2 updates for JMRI within the past 3 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to want to have your computer to be accessible to go ahead and get up online.
Yeah, I think so. And then what happens if you wanted to have somebody help you out with it? You're going to want to get on the internet and show them the screen. There's so many benefits to have the internet connected to your JMRI, not a lot of disadvantage. XP is the only reason why you might want to not have internet to it, because it's risky. But I would say JMRI doesn't. I mean, my answer to what JMRI is anything that can be electronically controlled in your layout can be controlled with JMRI. Turnout signals, building lights, everything electronic.
Yeah, real quick, if you hadn't seen the Q&A, I know Troy came, but Marie's response to that was girly model railroad interface for my girly bar train, because that's what she wants to do, is put a train on the bar, run up and down the bar, delivering the trains.
Like an O-scale with flat cars that you can send some drinks on or something. Yeah, it's a great idea. Love that. What was it? Is it there's an old movie.
Yeah. It's on YouTube about the guy that builds a model railroad there in his house, loses all the furniture and everything.
No, I haven't seen that. I'm like, you probably need to turn me on to that video if it's something railroad on YouTube I haven't found. But they're like old movie with Dudley Moore from the late 70s, and he had a train right across his bar, and it just kind of ran back and forth. It's gonna kill me until I think of what that was.
Well, get back to researching for your buildings on the layout, unless you got something else you want to talk about on JMRI.
I just find kits that I like, but I do want to start doing some scratch building soon.
I start modifying some of the kits too to get started with. That's an easy way to, not jump in do a little remodeling instead of trying to build the whole house, to start with, That's what I've done to kind of ease my way into it. Decide to do things a little different. That's how I kind of learned how to cut things up, and now I'm doing a little scratch build.
One of my first models that I built was using the Walters modules that they don't make anymore.
Yeah, they bought from DPM.
Yeah. I had bought in a box off of eBay that had just a ton of parts. There must have been 14, 15 kits in there. And I just picked a base and started building off of that and build like 3 or 4 buildings that way. So I guess that's kind of from scratch, but the pieces are already, molded and the windows are already put in the pieces.
Kit bashing. It's definitely kit bashing. You're creatively having to come up with what the building ends up looking like. Scratch building would be more like taking a sheet of brick and a knife to it. But and those DPM kits were not bad in the early days when they first come out. They were really, really compelling and interesting. And then they got to a point where they were on everybody's layout. But Walters actually did some stuff with that. They come out with some different modules and different brick patterns and stuff. It's not bad.
Yeah, out there at the store, the hobby shop, they used to carry a line. I can't remember what it was. It really didn't sell very well. But as far as industrial buildings, you could buy just walls, buy the roofs, different packages.
Series.
Do what, Bill?
Cornerstone series.
Yeah, and design your building that way.
Yeah, and Pike stuff has a lot of those things too, where they have corrugated metal walls, and you just buy those materials. And now some other people have kind of picked up the torch and run with it on that, like Monster Model Works. He makes brick sheets and cornices that you could just align them, and it makes your corner up for you beautifully. And window components and the corbels and the all those different various components, and you can but they're particular components. They're not wall pieces built up. You buy the sheet, you buy the corners, you buy the things, but it makes it. I mean, that's truly scratch building, but very easily. And man, oh man, the results are incredible. I mean, they're as good a brickwork as you see anywhere, period, on any layout out there, and you can do it easily.
Yeah, if you're going to scratch build, you can use styrene, you can use styrofoam, and put your styrene, like it's a very thin sheet of vinyl, brick and clapboard and stuff like that over top. You can model with balsa and basswoods. You can even model with cardboard. If you're going to do backdrop buildings, you can use paper, burn out paper, brick and so on, and you can weather it. But I do suggest adding windows from Tichy or Grant Line or something like that, and fire escapes, roof details, and up to 3D it a little bit. But there's several different ways and different things that you can scratch build with that can give you a decent looking building.
Yeah. I see DeBob has posted today his video for painting his styrofoam mountains. I hadn't watched it yet, but I was going to watch it after his show.
No, I haven't seen that one yet either.
I watched it. He's going to redo it, though. He was in the beginner hangout last night, and both Bill and Andy did different kinds of, using different materials, how to make rock. And after watching that, he said he was going to reattempt it and redo his foam work that he did. And that's kind of what he said in his post, was if you read the thing, he said that it was after last night he got re-energized. Yes, and was going to redo it. So it'll be interesting to see, how it turns out.
And I'll tell you what, after slapping a coat of paint on that thing last night, I'm going to take a knife and do a little bit of touch up in some spots, but slapping a coat of paint on it done wonders for it, man. It pops. And that all I did spray it with a kind of a concretey brown color that I use, and I'm gonna throw some thin black paint to it to sink into the crevices, and then put a few layers of colors of gray and dark browns like an umber color on it. And that was my first trial piece, and I like it. So I like that technique, and the foam is great work. And Bob's was already looking good. Um, I mean, I was really excited about what he was doing with his videos. Watching every one of those, got notifications turned on for him, so I catch every video he comes out with. His trestle's gorgeous, man. He's done great work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, did I have a learning experience last night. I was working on that concrete wall that I'm going to use to hide the incline, big opening and all. And was trying to put some weathering on it last night. And I decided to, couldn't find the India ink, so got the grimy black. I was using Doc O'Brien's powders. So I speckled some of that across there. Luckily on the backside first.
Yeah.
And I just dipped a brush in the alcohol and went in there to it. Yeah, boy, you don't speckle that much of that powder. You got to be really sparing with that powder.
The alcohol makes it so strong.
Yeah.
And another thing people ought to be looking for is these AK weathering pigments. I use a lot of alcohol and ink, especially for weathering cars, or alcohol and chalk. But AK weathering pigments are used by the military modelers, and it is the best rust staining and streaking. You cannot get streaking effects unless it's a wet effect. So you need something wet to get it, and those weathering pigments are awesome. People ought to look at those.
Yeah, I had just very little bit of that pigment on the back of that wall. Then when I hit it with the alcohol, boy, I mean, it's almost like a pure black paint. Had to keep putting alcohol on it to get it thinned out and wipe it down with a paper towel. I finally figured just put a little speckle out there and then put the alcohol on.
Yeah,
well, of course, by the time I got done with that, my alcohol had gotten a thin black wash, so I just went to using it.
Yeah, I paint solid colors with just chalk, and I mean that's just chalk and alcohol. Now, if you just try to chalk it, it gets a very see-through effect with just dry chalk like that, where you can really see through the paint. But if you use alcohol, man, it's a paint.
Yeah.
It ain't a subtle weathering effect. You're just painting it black.
Yeah, that's what I discovered.
That's what it all is, experimentation.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say one more time, the viewers can jump on in with questions anytime you want to. Just post them right up there. We'll bring them right on into the discussion. All right, we're talking a little bit about weather. And anybody else got anything to say on that one too?
I've used some black and gray weathering powder with just water and done like smoke residue on smokestacks and like the sealant on flat rooftops, like around pipe vents and things like that. And it's a contrast that's, I kind of liked it. But it stays flat, it doesn't get glossy, where with some of those roof sealants that they put on, flat roofs, tar paper type roofs, or gravel type roofs, when they go to seal, it can be somewhat glossy in real life. So
yeah, I have a way I got that effect around a stovepipe. I wanted to like tar around it, and I'm going to go back and do it between the roll roofing where it has that slight shiny effect. And I needed to put the little white metal casting for the stovepipe through the roof anyway. So I mixed a little bit of super glue, which I don't, you always apply super glue with the toothpick anyway. Mixed a little pile of super glue and threw just a little bit of black acrylic paint in the super glue. Mix that up, put it around the hole, shoved that little pipe through it, glued it, and left that slight shiny tar ring around it all at the top. I did the same thing with a concrete chimney that I planted on a roof right recently too. That worked pretty good. And it's a little bit shiny, super glue shiny.
Yeah, if you already have all your roof and stuff down already, just use a little bit of white glue and mix it with some black pigment. It'll be shiny.
Yeah, I'm not patient enough for white glue. I like super glue.
Well, it's an after effect. It's not actually gluing anything.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be true too. I like super glues on about everything. You know, last night when we were doing that whatever, that little rock shelf, I don't know where I put mine. It's laying here. Oh, here it is. I super glued those pieces of material together. I mean, I wouldn't do that under general circumstances, but it does fast for our purposes. So I super glued the tile.
Yeah, that tile will hold together with the super glue. That's one nice thing about it.
It soaked in, and you know, yeah, might even be a great way to do it. I just wouldn't
use the gel.
Yeah, I did. But a man couldn't use super glue for that. It'd be too expensive to do it all the time. But I needed it in a hurry for what we were doing, so I used a little super glue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impatient. I love super glue. I want super glue that's faster. So if anybody has something, okay. For one thing, I can't buy accelerator anywhere around here. I don't have a hobby shop, and the Michaels and Hobby Lobby don't have accelerator, or I can't find it. And
I don't like using accelerators.
But I mean, did I mention that I was impatient? I need a faster super glue. I mean, I'm putting these trees together and super gluing limbs on trees, and I have to hold it too long. You know, these should set up in 10 seconds. I don't want to hold it 4 minutes for the 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes for the super glue to set. I need something fast.
Well, through the hobby shops, you can get what they call rapid cure.
Yet I haven't found that. So I mean, I use the Gorilla super glue a lot. Loctite's not bad. Their gel extra time control is really, really awesome for certain applications, but they're not fast.
I should have kept the bottle I had here. It went empty and I threw it away, but it was the one I was using that night when I did the trees on Johnny's Hangout. That stuff was super fast drying.
You remember what brand it was?
Put it in place. Don't try and move it.
That's what I'm looking for. I want to put limbs on, plop, walk away, put another limb on. Because some of the big trees I made, I'm gluing 15 or 20 limb pieces on there. And the only way I've been able to do it is try to prop the tree up in a certain way and stick it down in there and stick something on top of it to hold it so I can go on. I need something fast.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find some more here, and maybe I'll just send you a bottle.
Yeah, right. If I can find it somewhere, I'll go get it somewhere. I've been using contact cement a little bit too. I'll take a whole tray of the ends or of the limbs that I want to use, and just stick them in the contact cement and prop them up, let them cure for 10 minutes, and then sit there with a tree and plop, 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 and that's okay. But it's a little rubbery and not solid enough.
This stuff here, it's called Zap-A-Gap.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, the regular Zap super glues are kind of, this is a little gel, so it takes just a little bit longer because it's thick.
Yep.
But a straight Zap glue will dry quick.
Any
Those you can get most hobby shops, Hobby Lobby.
I could order it off the internet. I just don't have a hobby shop close to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zap glues, they do dry real fast there, Andy.
Well, I mean,
you're talking maybe 4 seconds, 5 seconds, because we used it a lot when we were flying airplanes with the balsa parts to, you come in with a rough landing or whatever, kind of rip your landing gear out.
Yep.
Stick it back in there and go back to flying again.
When building them, I built a P-40 when I was flying planes, and man, there's a lot of pieces in building that plane. If you didn't have a fast glue, it would have took you, you could have raised a kid as quick as you could have built that plane, because it was a lot of parts. But 5-foot wingspan P-40 kit that I built.
Back when I was building RC planes, I did not have that super glues available. We had to use that Ambroid wood glue. And you had to clamp it and wait for it to dry before you went to the next step.
Yep, that's the reason why you had the big cork boards and a lot of T-pins.
You got that right.
T-pin's still a ticket, man. I mean, and even in model railroading, that is a very underused, awesome thing. I use, I keep a lot of them around, use them for everything under the sun.
Yeah, I bought a big box with 1,000 in it. And boy, I tell you, I put them to use.
I wish I could get a box that big. Hobby Lobby's got like 20 in a little pail, and I bought all kinds of them, but $4 or $3 for 20 of them.
But you got super glues today. You have all different kinds, different thicknesses, and different set times. So.
Yeah, I want one this time for Andy though. I need a glue that says on the front of it, glue for impatient people.
Oh, that'll be Zap glue.
It's spelled Z-A-P.
Yeah,
that'll be Zap. That'll be Zap.
That's what that stands for or something. That's Latin for impatient.
Yep, that stuff is fast. I mean, they've got it in various formulas. You can get it to where it'll be a 15-second glue, too.
Yeah, different colored bottles are different set times and different thicknesses.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to a little bit slower, get the part into place. Once I had it where I need it, then I'd hit it with a little zip kicker. Go ahead and harden it up. But I'm liking that Expert glue.
That's the name of it.
Yeah. Because you got two of them. You got Expert, which is good on your plastics and all. Then you got Expert Laser, which is the white glue. It's good for paper, wood, stuff like that. I got both of them. I've used the white glue too. It dries up fairly quick.
Yeah, I use the yellow bottle of the Expert CA thick. That's what I was using on those trees.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's the only two glues they carried at the store. Just those two. How you doing now?
Doing good, you?
Doing good. Glad to see you made in.
Hey, Al.
What's up? I'm just in for a few minutes. Late night.
Yeah.
Oh, a few minutes is better than none, right?
This is true. The hell are you doing, Troy?
Working on my control panel.
That's a big control panel.
Yeah, it's a pretty big area. I wanted to spread it out a little bit, though, so when you're operating the industry area, the main line guy can go ahead and still have access to all his turnouts, too.
I like the flowers.
The flowers.
The rug.
Oh, yeah. That's the old ladies. I don't dare mess with that. If she was to come downstairs right now, my head would be on a pole. But I got a vacuum here before I call her the night. That for sure.
Yeah, nothing like living dangerously.
No, I'm definitely living dangerously right now. That's for darn sure.
He's already done that once when he was messing with styrofoam, making a mess, and we didn't see him for 2 weeks afterwards.
That was about right. I heard about that one.
Sure you did. You were worried about it legitimately, but you're like, I'll clean it up tomorrow. Then we seen him in like April or something.
Yeah, it was a while, that's for sure.
Man, I understand. I wouldn't have got back on here with a black eye either.
Yeah, pretty darn close, that's for sure.
At least this missus is not as bad as my sister.
I
The
don't know
make
about
cup
that.
the dance would come along and take the cup away and wash it before we even have time to drink it. Then she'll wipe the table down.
And she's pretty picky to say the least. I just want to get this area done, get it up and running, and get my frogs powered up and test it all out the way it's supposed to be.
Well, you've done all the hard work. Now it's just a matter of getting the control panel in place. I mean, getting all the turnouts in there, tortoises, and all. I mean, this is.
That's all done.
Yeah, I know it. You're in the end stages. I couldn't wait either, man. Now's the time to. You got to buckle down to this last little bit.
Yeah, I got 2 more switches to build for the area. Yeah, 2 more turnouts and then 3 more tortoises to put in. I got 1 more tortoise yet that I haven't installed because I wasn't sure if I was going to make any changes back there or not. But everything worked out pretty darn good, so I can go ahead and install it now. So yeah, I'm getting pretty excited.
Oh yeah, you gotta be, man. Everybody use tortoises on here? Is there anybody on here using servos? Because I'm going to use servos, but I haven't yet. So if anybody,
Barry uses tortoises exclusively, pretty much, and also Chris, he's using tortoises too.
is it tortoise? Servos, yeah.
I mean servos. Both
Servos,
of them
yeah.
using servos. Don't
Yeah.
forget to mute your mic there, Troy.
Yeah, Barry done a
Oh no,
hangout.
I won't.
Yeah.
Barry done a hangout a little while ago, and he talked about servos in it, and that's really so inspired about doing servos. I had read a little bit about it, but I thought it was like, I thought it was going to be some crazy big deal to do, and it's not.
Yeah, when Barry first got in here, that's what he was doing. He's redoing the modules for their club.
Yep.
They take the shows and all. He's having to do some rewiring, and he was showing the servos he had up under there. And, yeah, he's rewiring those too. So.
Well, Tam Valley's just made it so easy now that you really could do it either way. I mean, if I'd already started with tortoises, I would keep doing tortoises because I want to be consistent. But since I'm, starting this way, I'm gonna use servos. They're small. My layout is about lightweight, really thin benchwork, so I can get more levels.
Yeah.
Most people's benchworks, 5-6 inches. My benchwork's 2 inches, and that buys me enough room. I'll have 4 decks eventually.
Yeah, Troy.
Tortoises will be too heavy for yours, Andy.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Can you hear me, Troy? Or did he lock up?
I think no.
Yeah, he's
Can you guys?
locking up.
No, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you, don't forget to squish your hips as you're moving the vac back and forth.
I just want to make sure I was muted.
Yeah.
No, I use the servos myself.
Every woman out there pissed.
Do you, Bill? I hadn't talked to you about that then. You using the servos?
Yeah, I use the Tam Valley servos. I have a whole bunch of boards and all that he sent me for making them up for the panels and everything. And I just ordered the servos myself online. Got them out of China.
Yep.
But I get a whole box of servos. But the singlets I like because you can run them straight DC. You can run them DCC. You can use them on command. They have the 2 little lights and a push button on them.
Yep.
Fascia mount them. They're lightweight. They're small. I love them.
Now, what's the torque on those servos you're using?
9 ounce.
Yeah, that's the recommendation. A lot of the cheap Chinese ones are 3, but I think Barry or somebody somewhere, but I think Barry said make sure you shoot for the 9s. You might not need that at end scale, but I'm also a believer anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So.
Yeah, 9s will work all the way up to throwing S and O gauge turnouts. 9 ounces, you think, oh, that's not very much, but yeah, 9 ounces is a lot to just move a set of points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I use, 9 ounce. I had a couple of those things, and I gave them to Scott for his lot, and I've gone the Team Digital one because I can control 8 servos from one board.
Yeah,
Yeah, the octopus.
Yeah.
And the beauty about it is it's got buttons, so you can actually put the buttons on your panel and change them from your panel, or you can change them from DCC, or you can set the buttons up so you press one button and it'll automatically set them to a predefined route. Quite powerful little boards that Team Digital's put out.
Yeah,
and you can power from the track. So rather than have to get a dedicated power supply to it, you can drop 2 feet down from your track and power it from there if you want to.
Well, the one good thing about using these servos like that is you can, if you have a double crossover, you can wire them that when you hit a switch for, say, north to south crossover, the opposite end of that turnout also switches for you, and vice versa the other direction.
Yep. And you can do that with tortoises, but you have to have, but it's really easy with servos because you still keep one controller and you just use a little Y cable on the servo feed lead and off the controller, a little Y cable.
You can do the same thing with tortoises, and it's just as easy as servos.
Oh, you can still use one controller. That was the one thing I wasn't sure about.
Yeah, you can get by with using one tortoise and operating 2 turnouts at the same time. I had a couple of crossovers that was coming through my yard, and actually my whole yard area, I actually had to use remote tortoise mounts. And with the remote tortoise mount, they're only like $3 or $4, I think, a piece.
Right.
But you can go and get a remote actuator for just another couple more bucks and be able to go ahead and operate 2 turnouts at the same time.
With one tortoise, so it has
with one tortoise. Yep.
Mechanical linkages. That makes it a lot cheaper because there's a lot of times that you can combine 2 together. So.
But how
Well,
much?
it's not just that; it's also the space too. I mean, to operate two turnouts, you're looking at one tortoise, and you're probably looking at maybe $10-11 to go and operate 2 turnouts plus the tortoise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a crossover where I couldn't get servos in there because it was just too tight. So I got a linear servo and mounted it remotely from it. So I just put an aeroplane control lead, in a tube to one, and then that piggybacked to the other. So when the servo went, it did the 2 turnouts at the same time.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I have any of those remote mount activators here handy. I can kind of show you guys here really quick. Because I got just a whole pile of them. My other layout, I had, I'm trying to think, oh, what the heck was it? 26 remote tortoise mounts on there, because my yard actually sat up above 2 separate hidden staging areas, and there's no way to go ahead and actually mount them. Let me go ahead and get my page up here so I can see what's going on.
Then you couldn't get to them very good either, and with the remote mounts, you could mount all the tortoises in one line across the front or something like that, and they'd be easy to get to.
Yeah, this is a remote tortoise mount right here.
I don't have your video either. I don't know what's going on with my video.
So this right here basically just mounts any place you want on the layout. There's 4 screw holes on there. The tortoise mounts right to this bracket. Then a cable comes up off the end of it, and they'll actually accept 2 cables. And then at the other end, you'll have one of these. So when you move the tortoise, this right here will actually spin and pivot back and forth. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah. How long is that cable?
See it moving or not? This cable right here is about 10 inches long, maybe even 12.
How far could a man go?
Quite a ways. You can actually literally, if you can find the cable long enough, you can go 30, 40 feet.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's a manual cable, right?
What's that?
It's a manual cable.
No, it's not manual. I mean, it's with a tortoise.
Well, it's like
way different. This is way finer. What you actually have to do is you have to drill a hole 2 ties before the points.
Yeah.
And you'll install a brass tube inside of it. and use a piece of music wire. I use 20, I think it was 22 thousandths, but you can use up to 30 thousandths
Wow.
music wire, and you'll actually bend it inside of an L shape, or like the old-fashioned Roman numeral 7 kind of like deal.
Sure.
So it'll bend from the points, go through the throw bar, the points, bend over the two ties, and then come back down through the layout. Then it'll bend and come in through the back side of this piece right here. So when you actually turn it, it'll move back and forth when you start throwing it.
See, and that's thin too, so I could use that on my. The problem I have with tortoises is they don't fit in my narrow bench work or my shallow bench work, thin bench work. But I could put those, and I could put the tortoises in the back under scenery and flip them over upside down and make them all remote.
Yeah, I love the tortoises because they move so nice and slow. They've been very reliable for me. I've
Yeah.
always been curious about servos. I've heard a lot of good luck about servos. I'm not going to knock servos by no means. But this is just what I've used, and I've had so many of them from my old layout that I'll just go and continue using them instead of trying to make the changeover.
I've already used tortoises. I'm already familiar with them. Servos is a totally new thing for me. I just hadn't found a good way to do tortoises. I don't know which way I'll go now.
Yeah, this is just the remote tortoise mount, and they move really slow. Even in N scale, they move nice and slow on them.
Yeah, that's what I like. I love the way they look. And maybe the servos look good too, but I guess you have to tweak the servos. I guess you can tweak them and make them move slow.
You can.
Yeah, I was watching Chris Healy one night, and it took him quite a while to go ahead and get it figured out. And even after having it figured out, there's still some tinkering and fine-tuning to go ahead and do with programming them and everything.
Sure.
You know, but the thing that's nice about it is that you can actually go ahead and adjust them a lot easier than what you can with a tortoise. I mean, an actual tortoise, you have to get it mounted up underneath that turnout just perfect in order for it to go ahead and be able to throw. I don't know about HO scale, but I know that with N scale, it's a lot of fine tuning to go ahead and get it to be adjusted just right.
Yeah.
Troy,
Yes.
did you have electric attached to that, or you're moving it manually?
I was moving it manually right here.
Okay. So that cable that you have going to the remote piece there, that is a manual cable, right? It slides in and out.
Yeah, it just slides in and out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fine. I bet you this piece right here is probably 35 thousandths, the actual sheathing for it. The cable itself is probably, oh boy, I bet you,
Probably about 25.
no, not even.
Really?
Not even. It's probably about 10 thousandths. I'll grab my mic and I can tell you here in a second.
But you could buy a spool of wire, and run that a tremendous distance, and that would let me, like on my modules, I could centrally locate all of the tortoises in one little spot.
I have my glasses on. There we go.
That's a no-brainer. I don't know why anybody fools with mounting tortoises right up under the turnouts. They're hard to get to, et cetera, et cetera. The remote mounts are like a no-brainer, and if they're affordable, like you were saying, they were $10 or something, I would do it for every turnout.
Yeah, it's plus the price of the tortoise and the mount.
But if you're already out the tortoise anyway, you pay $10 for the remote mount, and if nothing else, if you had L girder benchwork, you could pull your tortoises down low where it'd be easy to get to them. And I had tortoises on my last layout, and those little ribbon strips that the little plugs, I didn't solder my wire to the tortoises. I used those little strips, and those were a pain, man. They slip around and slip out of spot. You had to climb way up under the benchwork to get to them. So if you could get your tortoises down where you could see them. And remote.
0.012.
Wow.
So it's fine.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of pressure that's put up on there.
That's 12 thousandths.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other piece is about, that's be the plastic sheathing, about 35 thousandths.
Mm-hmm.
So it's smaller than what you would actually go ahead and run on HO, but it works great.
How you doing, James?
That's smaller than radio control wires.
Yeah, it's small, and that's what it's made for. It's made so you can go ahead and stick them up inside of tight areas and everything else and be able to run it through your bench work or whatever it is you need to do. I mean, this piece is only, see if I can find my tape measure here. I think it's 1 inch square. Now it's an inch and a quarter by inch and a quarter square, and it's only a ½ inch deep. So when you mount it up underneath, you're only taking up a ½ inch of room underneath the layout for that one little piece from the way it mounts. But they work great. I myself, I love them. They're really easy to set up too. I got just a whole pile of those. I know I won't be using all of those right there for this layout, but I wasn't going to go ahead and get rid of them yet till after I was done with this layout and get all my turnouts and stuff all installed, which hopefully by the end of this winter I can have all that right there done. Got my yard figured out, got my helix figured out. My helix has to come back out. That's probably going to take about a month to go ahead and work on that for adding a turnout into that, but it'll be well worth it.
Alright, I want to jump in here just for a second. Do a midpoint. Uh-oh. Wrong thing, isn't it? Where'd I go?
I don't know, where did you go?
Clicked on the wrong thing. Alright, can you see the big bill?
Yep, sure can.
Alright, midpoint, just a little quick announcement here. Thursday night hangouts are the proud sponsor of YouTube Model Builders, the EMAG, and the YouTube Model Builders live show. You can go to the website, YouTubeModelBuilders.com, get your schedules for the live show, what the topic is, and who the guests are on that. You can also sign up for the EMAG notification when the E-Magazine comes out, which is bi-monthly. The live show's once a month. And you can also get your schedule for the Tuesday night presentations that are every week. They are now have different moderators. Troy here is a moderator. Gino, Barry, Dude, they all have a week now. And they have their own guests that come in and subjects. So you can go to the website, find out who's doing what on what Tuesday night of the month. And that concludes tonight's public service announcement. And we're back to the regular program.
There you guys. I put they're the servos I quite often use. They're linear servo. You can sit them remotely and have like you wide through your tube going to wherever you want to go.
Is that a servo or a solenoid? It is a servo, isn't it?
The servo, yeah. Except the being circular, it's linear.
Yeah, those are linear servos.
Hey, will you paste the link, paste that address in the chat? I want to check those out. Those are, and the microlinear is small.
Yeah.
You get them in dozens of different sizes. One, two, three. Yeah, there it is there now in the back group.
Awesome, thank you.
Now you see that, Andy? Got to turn the chat back on so you can pick up the link.
Okay, good, thank you. I wonder why it didn't load.
You get them in a whole anything from 1.4 gram up to about 3 gram.
It's a little rich for my blood.
Yeah, they are a little on the expensive side.
I don't need that many, so I want the right one. Yeah, I'll check those out. You can roll any of them with the 10 Valley, right?
Yeah, that price I put 50 servos.
Yeah, like, well, the ones I've been looking at are like $2 something. $2.5.
Oh, yeah, there are cheaper ones around. You probably run on the internet. You'd probably find these same servos half that price. You actually look for it.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't need that many anyway. If they were work better for me or would be stronger, for example, because they're a geared mechanism, you'd think they'd be a little stronger. And I use non-hinge point, hand lamp turnouts, and they're not a hinge point, so they do need to be pretty strong to bend that. Well, I mean, it's just code 83 rail, so it's not like it has to be ridiculous.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, they work in really small spaces, though, where you couldn't get a servo or a tortoise machine.
Absolutely. And like my top deck, and well, I have 4 decks. Main top, and it's really thin, and then I have a regular shelf, and then I have another really, really thin shelf, and then the bottom shelf, which has plenty of room. But those really, really thin shelves, I'm trying to get those down to an inch or an inch and a half total thickness. Well, and it'll be an inch and a half, and that's counting the homicide. So I need to go 1 inch within 1 inch. I can hang out a little bit. I have a little bit of a fascia sticks out enough to cover the LEDs. Speaking of LEDs, you guys seen those 1 foot strips that Precision Design, who does the giveaways here on YouTube Model Builders, also is now selling the 1 foot LED strip circuit boards, and you just buy the LEDs surface mounts off the internet. 1 foot strip, 21 LEDs, really, really strong, really, really bright. I'm thinking that's what I use instead of the strip lighting, because people are saying they're so much brighter.
No, anyway.
What's next on the agenda?
Good question.
Anything else? Yeah, anything else we're going to talk about?
Car cards, anybody use them?
Used to.
Sorry, missed that.
Car
HO
cards?
Yeah, the HO gauge layout. We use car cards and car orders. Makes operation fun.
Did you guys use the MicroMark ones? So me and Troy were talking about earlier. Did you just buy those, or did you just print them off and cut them out of cardstock? Because there's a way to do them with business card material too. So you can just go to Walmart, buy the business card material, and print them out. But the MicroMark ones look pretty good, and what I couldn't find was the exact dimension of the card itself, not the pocket or the box. Any of you guys know how large those cards are?
They're 3x5. Comes in a pack with a gummed end. The MicroMark, you can get the holder, the whole setup and everything for less than $30. And then you can reorder whatever you need.
Yeah, I think that comes with 4 of them.
So they're the size of an index card, basically. Is that right? Because what I want to
The way it sounds, it's kind of about the size of a recipe card.
okay, that makes sense. But I want to be able to buy clear plastic pockets for them, and then stick a little neodymium magnet on the back of it with glue, and I'm gonna put metal in spots on the back of my fascia at industry spurs. So if you come up to an industry and there's a car in there, there'll just be a card in a pocket slapped to the fascia and stuff there. And if you drop a car off, you can just come up, slap your card to the fascia, and go away. No, don't have to have a pocket. So if there's nothing at the industry, you have a completely clean fascia. I just got that idea. We were talking about this earlier tonight, and I got this wild idea about using magnets for that, which would be cool for a lot of things. Because I mean, I'm using iPods, and you can buy those cases for iPods that stick to refrigerators, and I could do that. And just if you're working in an industry, just stick your iPod with your throttle on it, just stick it to the fascia, and go on about uncoupling cars, and you can reach to the fascia and touch your throttle, and I mean, it seems perfect.
I'm actually looking at picking up a set of them. You get the starter pack. It's $30. Yeah, $29.85. You get 4 of the bill boxes, 100 each of the car cards, weigh bills, bad order slips, 25 locomotive cars, and then 4 of the 3 compartment bill boxes.
And if you wanted to keep them and not keep rewriting them, you can get some of that laminate, like you use for putting things in. You know, you buy it. Trying to think what they call them now, but you can get about 6 different sizes of the laminate material. And you open it up, you stick it down, you peel the back, and you close it over top of it, and then cut the border around it. That way you have a permanent card. And then you use a
Dry erase marker.
dry erase marker on the face of it.
Yeah. I wonder how easily that would come off if you had them all stacked together as you walked along with your train with them in your hand. It's an interesting idea, though. That's worth. I'll tell you what, you could use a Sharpie and a little bit of acetone to wipe them off at the end of the night.
Well, acetone to eat the plastic.
Yeah, you'd have to use something like just alcohol or something then.
Well, magic marker on plastic. If you use alcohol and rub intensely, it'll take it off.
Yeah. That's a potential, but they're not very expensive. What'd you say? Like, was that like 1,000 of them or something, Troy? They're not much, are they?
It's $30.
Yeah, I think it's 100 in a gum-backed, like a notepad. You peel them off as you use them.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I don't know, $4 or something, $5, something like that, to replenish your supply.
Yeah, it's only like $4 or something like that for another 100 more.
Yeah.
Except for the locomotives.
Well, locomotives you keep permanent.
Yeah, they only come at 25 though. So if you got 50 locomotives, it's like $4 or $5 more for 25 more cars, I think.
Yeah. But I've used them. I like them. They're good for operation. Sometimes we'd make up 2 sets of each thing and give the dispatcher a set, and he would route the train off the CTC panel.
What would the dispatcher do with the waybills? How would they utilize? How does the dispatcher get involved in waybills?
He would route your train to your destination.
Yeah.
And then you would set your cars out according to what you had.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, dispatcher doesn't touch waybills though. The only thing dispatcher would touch is if you were using a warrant system, they would touch the warrant card.
Right.
But and I'm not sure. I think I'm going to end up using track warrants. I'm still researching that, but I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around how the Norfolk and Western used timetable and train order and CTC together prior to radio. So it's timetable and train order, but using CTC for signal and switch control. I don't have my head wrapped around that yet.
Yeah. There's a website. I'll have to find it, but it gives you can print out your own cards and everything.
That would be my preference because then I could size them specifically for those little pockets I'm talking about that I'm gonna put magnets on. And
Yeah.
I'd like them to be pretty doggone small, you know. That wouldn't work for anybody, but I got good eyesight. I'm a lone wolf modeler, so I could use. That's why I was thinking about using business card stock.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find them.
Well, sure.
You got little pockets now. They have little clips on them. I don't know if I have one in here or not. No, this one's a solid one.
Cards. Like with business
Yeah,
cards,
you put a business card or a name tag in it, and you clip it on your lapel.
Yep. And like business cards, you can get all kinds of business card pockets, you know, of that type. And I have like a little business card holder that I carry around with me in my pocket anyway. I could have one of those for my whole train. And as I pick up cars, I just slip them in that little pocket. And, I mean, it would feel very organized to me.
You know, that's one thing about Micromarket. They charge so much for shipping and handling.
Oh yeah, they kill me. I told you I had several things I've been wanting to order from Micromart, and I've been waiting because I don't like paying shipping anyway, and there's the shipping is horrendous.
Yeah, don't buy a bigger machine from them because then you're gonna pay through the nose.
Yeah, I keep dreaming about that a couple things they got though. That table saw is incredible, and I think maybe Micromark was where I looked at that laser cutter the other day. I'm dreaming of a laser cutter.
Well, I got a bunch of their stuff.
You can triple the price you win.
I mean, everybody's crazy about 3D printers, and I'm not saying I wouldn't like to have one. I would, but if I had my choice, I would rather have a laser cutter than a 3D printer.
Tell you what, Andy, you might want to look at the woodworking supply places about the laser cutters.
Oh, like find one used somewhere, or you mean as a woodworking tool supply?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've been thinking about
they're using them now mostly for wood burning, doing inlay stuff like that. But
yeah,
you know, it should work for what we want to do too, especially since you're cutting basswood or balsa wood, something like that.
Yeah, thin sheets of material. You know, I'm not trying to cut stock or anything, but just sheet stock material. Speaking of that, though, is it Barry that's got? No, not Barry. Miles Hale has one of those crickets. Somebody else has one on here too.
Me. Me.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that either. Huh. All right. My stalking of you has fell down horribly. I don't know what you got going on over there. Yeah, I've been dreaming about one of those. I mean, that's a couple $100. It's not a laser cutter, but it's close. It just about does the same thing. And you can buy from Albert Scale Lumber. You can buy the thinner siding stock and you know various sheet material at a size that the cricket will cut. And what's that? $200 for a cricket?
About $250, I think it is.
Yeah, they're like $289 now.
Yeah, they come out with a new one. It actually cuts a little bit thicker material in the styrene.
And then you gotta have a bunch of needles, and supposedly it goes through the needles kind of quick and everything. So I mean but still, a laser cutter's knocking on $2,000. You might find one for $1,500 or less, but about $2,000. That's pricey.
Yeah, because woodworking supplies, they're about $2,000.
Yeah, that's what I found so far. I found a few used. I found one on eBay for $1,100-1,200, but you don't know what kind of shape it is in either, and how hard it's been worked. And
well, if you're good with electronics, you can make your own.
I am. I'm electrical engineer. Well, I'm trained electrical engineer, but and I did start making a riprap 3D printer years ago, and I have Raspberry Pis, and my signal system is driven by Arduinos. So I mean, I'm pretty good with that stuff, but time is my enemy.
Yeah. 'Cause all you need is a laser out of a CD, DVD recorder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at that too, and part of
Yeah.
the problem with this hobby is there's a bunch of sub hobbies, and it's really easy to fall into a trap where you end up just being a 3D modeler in the railroading space. And I want to be a complete model railroader, and that means I have to I have to kind of back up from these little hobbies that could totally engulf you, and I could totally get engulfed by building a CNC or
Yeah.
You're like me right now, Andy. I don't have enough time to sit and squat.
Oh man, time is my problem. So the fact that I even thought I could do this, that I could get back into the hobby a year and something ago when I did was a testimony to my, I don't know, optimism that I would even have time. But I find time. It's progressing slowly, but I find some time to work. And I mean, I find time to get in here on the Hangouts too. So.
Yeah.
So the viewers don't have any questions? Or y'all just more interested in watching tonight?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky in my area here. If I want to be laser cut, I do the artwork and I just take it to the local printer. They got a laser cutter there and they just cut them out for me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Might
And
be
the beauty
some way.
is cheap because he's a member of the railway club.
Yeah. That might be something for us to do too. So look around at people who are doing the laser printing, see if they could cut what they charge. But all right, we covered the glues. We've covered some of the washes a little bit and servos. Any of y'all got anything else?
I don't know if you get in the US, but here in Australia there's a magazine that's coming out, or just started 6 weeks ago. Build your own 3D printer. And it comes with a magazine that tells you all about 3D printing. And it also gives you a couple of parts to start building your own 3D printer.
Yeah, there's a lot of 3D printer stuff on eBay. The only problem with that is it uses the old style, and you got to do a lot of cleanup. It's like companies that are getting rid of their older equipment and using a new style with the liquid.
Yeah, it has a higher resolution.
Yeah.
Say, Andy,
Yeah, bud.
I was just doing some little bit of research here and found out that Pfeiffer Hobby actually sells the Micromark card routing system, and he's actually $3 cheaper than going through Micromark.
Well, his shipping's gonna be better.
And his shipping is way better.
Yes.
I'm going to put the same items inside the cart that I have in Micromark. So I was going to get an extra pack of the car cards, locomotive cards, and NP car request pad.
Absolutely.
So I'll go ahead and I'll total everything up here and see what the difference is in price with shipping.
Oh yeah. Well, I might go. I hate paying shipping. It just does something to my.
I do too.
Shipping. And if it's that much cheaper, I'll go ahead and place an order. I need to get some. I'm trying to put right now. That's what I'm doing in JMRI is getting my operations right. I've got all my equipment in, all my spots in on the layout. I'm starting to put together how the operation works. I'd like to have the cards, even though I'm not ready to operate. I could at least be getting all the, I want to have it all figured out.
You guys, if you're gonna order from Mike, call him. Tell him who you are. Tell him that you're with the YouTube model builders, and he'll give you a 10% discount.
Awesome! I love discounts.
Mike and Robin have treated me so well. I myself don't want no discount from him. He's a smaller time shop, and he
Yeah.
just their customer service and everything else is 110% satisfaction. I mean, I really put Mike and Robin both through the ringer on questions and stuff and special orders, and they have really gone out of their way.
They are really good people. Right now, they have a little bit of a family problem with the health issue.
They're largely an in-scale shop, right? Which is
Yeah.
stuff. So I haven't. They don't have a whole lot of the stuff that I would want to order. I've looked there a lot, and I hear nothing but good things about them. But so much of what they have is just in-scale.
Well, he's got some HO stuff too. It's just that
He's got a whole separate site.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole separate site just for HO scale.
Well, maybe I'm messing up just looking at the in-scale site.
What's the name of that site?
To be honest, I don't remember what the actual website was, Johnny.
I'll Google it.
Okay.
I think if you just type in Pfeiffer Hobby HO scale, it might come up.
Yeah, I'll just Google it.
I had no idea he had a separate HO.
Me either. When I look on there, I find tools and all kinds of cool stuff, but just mostly in-scale.
Yeah, he's got a regular hobby shop, so he does handle the other stuff too. But he's predominant N scale. He's got his own layout in the back room and everything. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he and his grandson Calvin are working on that now. They're doing a little expansion on it. How you doing, Dave?
Pretty good, man. Watched the debate.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave.
I missed. My business partner's been hollering about it every few minutes. He's sending me a message like, "Oh my God, you're missing this," and telling me some stupid stuff. So they were fighting and raising a bunch of cane with each other. It must have been pretty entertaining.
It was. Trump was his old arrogant self.
God, he is entertaining. You got to give him credit for that.
Here's the thing, Andy. Pfeiffer Hobby actually comes out $2 more than Micromark with shipping.
Oh my gosh.
But the difference is though is that they will actually reimburse for actual shipping. Here, because it's computer generated, and I've talked to Robin about this many times, it's their site that they go through when they calculate shipping. Here it says a $16.95 for shipping. However, when it's $2 or more difference in shipping, they refund the difference.
Wow.
Is what it is. So I can guarantee it would be the same price, if not cheaper, than Micromark.
I'd rather order from him than Micromark, all things being equal.
Exactly. I'd rather see them go ahead and get the funding than Micromark. To me, Micromark's just way too expensive on everything it is that they sell.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather deal with a mom and pop than I would with a corporation anyway.
Absolutely. I'd much rather put my money in a man's pocket than some big corporation.
The only difference is, though, is that they don't have the empty car request pad. So what I think I'll do is I'll probably just go and call them up tomorrow.
See if they can get it.
Yeah, and find out that way.
Well, let me know what you come up with. I'm curious about that. And I need
Yeah,
to
most definitely.
keep me in the loop.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm still trying to get a hold of Ron too, Andy. You might end up being by yourself on Tuesday.
You still haven't got a hold of him? That's
No, I'm having a hard time with Ron, so.
apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
Miles Hale did get a hold of me though, so I do have to go and shoot him off an email, which he just gave me his email address today, so.
maybe he'll get in there with us on Tuesday also, man. I mean, he does the plaster method as well, and has showed it off on videos and stuff too, so maybe he'll pop in with us. He's a good dude.
Phil. Phil.
Yes.
No, Phil.
Oh, Phil.
Phil up.
Yes.
What's What's this link you just put up?
It's called the Power Pro 8 or Power Shop 8, something like that. It's an all-in-one tool: bandsaw, jigsaw, table saw, drill. It's about the size of a suitcase. It's kind of a cool tool. It's a review of it on YouTube.
I've seen those. A lot of cabinet makers have those little kind of all-in-one suitcasey kind of tools.
So it's kind of like a hobbyist.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't build a house with it, but you know, I think it'd be good for, train builders, or if you want to build picture frames, or maybe a picnic table or something.
Yeah, it's a little on the large side for the saw.
Just out of curiosity, Phil. Well, yeah, because when I switch between Q&A and chat, y'all will see the chat. I don't know if the viewers can see the chat window.
No, they can't.
No, they can't.
Okay. They're ready. So what you working on, Dave?
Resting.
You work pretty hard on that.
Yeah, I do. Still need more practice, though.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Got anything particular planned for the weekend as far as working the layout?
Yeah, probably. I'm probably gonna build a kit or something. I don't know, just get off the layout for a while.
Yeah.
Pretty strong there for a couple of weeks, and thought I needed a break before I did something I'd have to rip out. So,
What do you think about a laser kit or just a styrene kit?
I don't know. I got a bunch to pick from. I need to do an icing platform, so that's probably going to be the one I'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I scratch built mine, Dave. Pretty simple. Little balsa.
Yeah.
Well, you get it
I don't
done.
know.
Turns out pretty good. I'll send you my icing kit. You can build it for me. You won't have to use a magnifier with it, though.
You seen mine, didn't you, Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy's got that video going. That's looking pretty interesting. All in one, two.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, is watching it.
Yeah, one of the guys in our club got one here. It's a great little machine.
For doing small basswood and balsa wood, though, I use the little micro mark saw and the sander, belt sander.
Yeah.
So I say that one there is just a little too big. Be chopping the wood up instead of cutting it.
If you could get a thin curved blade, well, shouldn't be too bad.
It would have to be awful thin.
Well, a rip blade.
Well, the blades we have on the micro mark are only like 20 thousandths thick.
Yeah.
Very fine teeth.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
$300 for that saw, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of steep.
Well, actually, I bought that stuff before they had the price increases, so I got it a whole lot cheaper than what they advertise now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, well, with the wide blade, you get lots of sawdust that you can use on your model railroad for scenery.
yeah, that is true.
Did you see what Lauren McLean, Lauren, I can't pronounce that right, from from Australia? He took a little bitty table saw that's meant for cutting tile or something like that that you can buy for like $70 and converted it into a small hobby table saw. And he has a YouTube video on how to do it. So a man could get a little table saw that's like the micro bark with the super thin blade and all that other stuff and spend a pretty small amount of money. It's even a little bit smaller platform. I like it better.
Yeah.
This whole contraption is completely cordless. Everything's wireless. Everything's battery. I mean, even when it's in the base station, it's all battery powered. So you could take this little contraption he's got, haul it off outside somewhere, and not have to run the extension cord or nothing. That has to be pretty expensive though, with that whole set of cordless tools.
I was just gonna say, the price has got to come down.
Yeah, I don't know how much it is.
It was just under $1,000.
Ooh,
Ouch.
Oh,
wow.
jeez.
All right.
Yeah, that's pretty. Okay, I'm done watching now.
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
That's enough of
I
that.
I got a layout to build.
Yeah.
$300, $350. Yeah, I was down.
Yeah, this new Harbor Freight that opened up over here near me now. I was over there one day looking, and they had a little bitty table saw for about $40. Clamp on the tabletop.
Yep.
And I couldn't spend the time looking at it, and I said, well, I'll come back and take a look at it. And I'll be darned if it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to their website, see if they got it listed there, see what that's all about.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that Harbor Freight's got a bunch of miniature tools. Table saws, sanders, belt sanders, little drill presses, all kinds of stuff. In fact, that's where I got my little miniature lathes from.
Yeah, I bought the belt sander with a disc sander on it, just like Dave's got.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing works good. You
Yeah.
use sharpen the axe and the hatchet too. I use out there on the smoker.
Awesome. I love any tool that can do double duty as part of my zombie survival kit.
Yeah, it's not that big of a unit. Except mine don't sound like a lawnmower when I run it though.
I have found the tools that I've bought from Harbor Freight, you only use once or twice and then they break.
Some of them, I've got a set of needle files that rock, man, and I got a set of these. They have oddball stuff. So like, I got this set of like dental picks that would have been hard to find. Different and different types of picks that would have been hard to find somewhere else, or even on eBay. They were $29 or $39 for a set of dental picks. They were $2.99, and they're solid. I mean, they have a metal body and everything. They were $3, $4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something
I like their 4-inch clamps too for putting stuff together.
Yeah, I broke a few of those though. They're one of the tools that let me down a little bit. I bought about 6 or 8 of those, and I broke 2 of them like pretty quickly. So, I mean, but the rest of them work like a champ. So
Yeah, but you can't put the gorilla to them though. They're not made for gorillas.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I
Like these
should have
little,
left George off somewhere else.
Yeah.
these little files I have here. I got those at Harbor Freight, and they're only like $4.
Yeah.
And they work fine. Yep.
And they're good. They're a doggone good set of files. And I have filed all kinds of rail already with these things and stuff, and haven't done any significant damage to them. And the flat file works really good for filing plastics. And it's
Now Dave over there, he's showing a drill set that he's bought at Harbor Freight. Now the Harbor Freight I go to, they don't have that, so I'd have to order it online.
what is that?
Those are fine drill bits.
Oh man.
Is that the Dremel set?
Oh, it's the Harbor Freight set.
Yeah, but I mean, it's for like a Dremel tool.
No.
No, it's my pin vise.
Pin buds.
What's
They're
the?
high speed though, so you could use them in a Dremel. I don't though.
Oh, okay. You just bought the drill set.
Yeah, I use them in my pin vise and hand drill everything. But you get two boxes, and the other box is the bigger sizes. These are the micro sizes, and I don't really use them. So
Yeah, I've looked at 2 Harbor Freight stores around me, and they don't even have those. So I guess I'd have to order them online.
I went one time, and they had them, and they had like 5 different sets, and I should have bought them because I've been back since, and they were all out of them. They took all they had because I've broken a few of them.
Everything that I bought there was like a heavy duty tool: chainsaw, weed
There
whip,
it is.
bench grinder. Chainsaw I used 3 times and it broke the safety thing. Broke on it. Weed whip, it fried halfway through the summer, and the bench grinder, it didn't last very long either.
There's
Yeah.
there's my set.
That's cute.
It's got cutting wheels, brushes, grinding stones, drill bits.
All right, Troy, we'll catch you later. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
night, guys. Have a good evening.
See, but
Yeah,
Cut off wheels, all kinds of stuff in here with the wall wart and the tool itself. $5 in a metal case.
$5.
$5.
All right.
Was that Harbor Freight or?
Harbor Freight.
Hmm.
It has all the micro drills in
got
it.
the price waters for $2.99. If you guys want to make you some static applicators.
Yeah, I bought 4 of them, so I can build a couple different styles, or if I screwed one up or whatever. I mean, they were whatever $5, whatever you say. They were so doggone cheap. When I went, I just went ahead and bought 4 of them.
You can, Andy, did you look on eBay yet for your airbrush?
I have. I've looked at a few. Um, I've looked at a few. Now that I've decided I'm getting a single action, the price consideration has dropped quite a bit. But I found Badger airbrushes down in the, I don't know, $40 or something. So not much. I mean, they were a trivial amount of money.
Well, they still have that one that I got for $5.
$5.
Yep. That's
Where'd
that
you say that? Where'd that come from?
off of eBay.
All right. Well, you need to send me a link to it
That's
if you can think of it or something, or tell me what you searched for to find that particular one. I'll pay $5 as a sheer
just
experiment
single action airbrush. That's this one right here.
for $5.
$5.
Gosh, buddy, seems like that could be.
This has said more than 100 available.
I'll order one of them here in a minute, and I'll go do that. I'll go look that up. Order me one, and I'll tell you, I'll buy me a nice. I don't care to buy a nice Badger for weathering equipment, but I could buy me one of those $5 ones because I want to shoot a lot of these India inks and oils onto my scenery, and it'd be perfect to have a $5 or a couple $5 airbrushes so I could swap back and forth between a few inks.
This is an Arksen, ARKSEN.
Or if you could spray glue with an airbrush.
Yeah, but be careful when you clean it. You don't want to bend that needle, and it's going to have residue on it. That's the major problem. People that have a rag or a hard sponge or something, and they use it to clean the tip with while they're spraying, they're taking a chance of bending that needle. That's why it's always best to use a little bit of like an alcohol with a Q-tip and just work it around nice and easy, or to actually dip the tip into an alcohol wash and spray alcohol through it. Because an airbrush needle is very, very sensitive, and if you bend it just 1 iota, it can cause you to get erratic spray patterns and lose control on it.
Well, I mean, and I mix my glue with alcohol anyway. But think how much faster you could lay down glue on scenery if you could airbrush it. So, and I mix glue with alcohol, it dries faster. So I could spray that. It'd probably be all right. All right.
How'd your guys' presentation go last night, Bill?
What's that?
How'd your guys' presentation go last night? Your plan?
Actually, I've had like 60 different email reviews that it was the best show I've had yet.
Nice.
Pretty good time. It's a good show. It's a good time.
Well, you know why that is, don't you? Is because you were actually demonstrating stuff instead of just talking about it.
Yeah.
No. The big difference is I was on there. That seems obvious. You guys are missing this.
Thanks again, Andy. Really.
Ain't nothing to thank me for, man. I was just hanging out, experimenting on live camera. And I tell you what, here, look at this thing, man. After I slapped a coat of paint on this thing, oh crap! Might need to turn the camera on. After I slapped a coat of paint on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I put a coat of paint on it too, and it really brought a lot more out.
Well, that's the Celotex, right?
Yeah, and I haven't put multiple layers on of paint or thrown any black into the crevices or anything, and you can see some of the lines where you can see the lines in the material here. I need to take a knife and cut those, but over here you don't see that too much, and the light actually shows a whole lot more than what you can kind of tell about it in person. And if I clean those lines up a little bit, throw some grays and some umbers and some few other colors at it, I mean, $5, man, I got two 2 foot by 4 foot sheets of this stuff. I could build rock walls till the cows come home for $5.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did your foam carving come out there, Bill?
Excellent.
It did. Looked real good.
And you, Johnny, what did you contribute?
Me?
Moral support.
Z's. Actually, I wasn't even at home when that started. I watched from the Q&A last part of it.
I was in there for a little bit, and then my friend showed up. We went out to dinner to celebrate my wife's and his wife's birthday late.
You can catch it on YouTube, Dave, on my channel.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else are we going to talk about? It's almost over.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else?
Anybody that knows JMRI that's willing to start a community or what?
I put the word out at the beginning of the show for you, Dave.
I mean, I would do it, but I don't know nothing about it. I want to learn.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still learning, so I can't help you there. JMRI is something new to me, and basically all I want it for is to set CVs.
Yeah.
I'm using railroad and
all that. You know, I don't necessarily want to use it to run the entire layout with signaling and, you know, routing and all that stuff. I just basically, like you, Bill, programming.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for routing, signaling, the operation side, and everything. And before you come in here, Johnny was talking about trying to encourage some people to contribute videos, put some stuff together. I am not a JMRI expert. I have a lot to figure out about it, but I have figured out some things about it, like having multiple JMRIs talk to each other. I have a JMRI running on my main Mac, and I have JMRI running on a Raspberry Pi, and I set the device manufacturer of my DCC system on the second system to be JMRI, and I pointed it at my other JMRI, and they now talk to each other and 2 separate platforms. So I'll have a dispatcher system, and I'll have a central control system, and I'll have a programming system, and I'll have multiple Raspberry Pis with cameras and signal systems hooked to it, all running JMRI. I've also figured out how to do startup items, like when my computer boots this dedicated system, It boots up, it launches JMRI, it launches the panel, it starts Y-throttle, it starts the web interfaces. I had to figure those things out, so I could do a little video on that. And maybe the best one would be installing it on Linux, either on a computer or on a Raspberry Pi computer, because there's some finagling to make that possible, and which is not a problem. I love the Fraggles, man; those guys are awesome, but you have to do a little bit of fraggling to get it all installed correctly on Linux, and I wouldn't care to do that either. Now, I haven't done a lot of video production work in my life, so I'm not exactly a pro there, and I'm far from a pro in JMRI. We're going to need a lot more people that know a lot more about it. We need to get Barry Rozier, and he knows a lot more than I ever thought about knowing. But I will help.
Bailey.
Wow, he said that all in one sentence.
Yeah.
That's how I'm a businessman. I have to talk fast, walk fast. I do that all the time.
I'm using that railroading company and for what I'm doing, and of course I'm not using my DCC for anything other than the sound and motion.
Railroad companies targeted at operations.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm looking at. So, but I do want to get the JMRI up and running enough to where I can go to Decoder Pro and use it.
Yep.
Yeah, Decoder Pro, Panel Pro, there's PL109 or something. There's a bunch of different little programs in JMRI that.
Well, it's like I
don't-
suggested. We need to get a hold of, God, I can't remember his name now. He's the only sole person left with the JMRI, and see if we can't get him to come in on a Hangout some night and do a presentation on it. How to set it up, how to use it, and so on.
Who's that,
Yeah.
Chris?
No, Fulkerson, I think, something like that.
Fulkerson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a engineering professor, electronics engineering professor.
Yeah, physics.
And
He's a physics professor.
physics, yeah. But he does electronics engineering too.
Absolutely.
And if I could get a hold of him and try and get him to come in, say like on a Thursday night with Johnny, that would be an ideal thing for everybody to watch, get things set up for.
And he's a very enjoyable guy to kind of listen to about it too. He was done on Lionel Strang's podcast, Modeler's Life. He did a couple-hour segment with Lionel, an hour segment, whatever, with Lionel asking him questions about it, etc. And he was thoroughly enjoyable to listen to. I'll tell you, if you guys are interested in JMRI, Lionel Strang just done 5 episodes calls The Search for JMRI, where he explains it, some of the uses, some of the uses, and some of the origin. And Ron Kleiss was his first guest on that subject, and a few other people that Marty McGurk, from Model Railroader fame. So that's definitely a podcast worth. I mean, that's a good podcast anyway. Lionel Strang's a character. He's a wild man, but he is enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, I talked, was it Tuesday afternoon, I talked to David Pop.
Yeah.
Asked him if he had any recommendations, and he told me the same thing. Go to the man that was part of the design and see if you can get him to do it.
David Pop drives me crazy, but he's a hard guy to watch, man.
He's the kind of guy that he'll do something one way, and I don't care what kind of a thing or whatever, it's got to be his way.
Yeah, you can tell that about him. And
that's the worst part.
I dropped Model Railroader Video Plus, not just him in general, but just really all the presenters on there. I didn't enjoy him or Cody or.
Cody's all right, but Cody runs a script.
Yeah, just too much of it, man. And when you've got Trainmasters TV that is so incredible, I mean, just top-notch quality, Discovery Channel quality in model railroading. No, it's perfect. And you would have thought Combat could have totally pulled that off, and they didn't. Trainmasters is impeccable. and the materials
Oh
exceptional.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Miles Hale, Miles Hale's on it, and he's a first class model railroader in every way. Really nice guy, of course, gets in on the channels here and talks, and just down to earth as he can be, and he's on Trainmaster TV. But really, every one of those guys is just a first class presenter and a down to earth kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm a,
Well, when it comes to model railroader, the only one I like listening to or watching is Dana.
yeah.
Dana,
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
the little blonde.
yeah, Andy Sprandio. I mean, you got to give him some credit. He's Andy's Brandio.
Yeah.
And if Tony Custer was still, involved in the magazine, maybe he was on there. He's a pretty enjoyable guy to listen to. But I don't know. When you got Trainmasters TV, Model Railroad videos, just yeah.
Yeah, they're substandard.
Oh, really? It's just amazing to me that a few guys from Canada who just like this stuff, who have a free magazine on the internet, can throw together this product and it be Discovery Channel quality. And Comback, who has what, 70 years, 60 years in the hobby, all the money, all the advertisers, all the subscribers paying too much per copy of magazine, and they can't put together a good product. It astonishes me. It astonishes me that they didn't put together a great product, but the fact that Trainmasters TV is as good as it is way beyond my expectation. It is absolutely $5 worth spending every month, unquestionably. And there's not a lot of material. I wish there was more material, but the quality unbelievably makes up for it.
Oh yeah.
All right, that was rant 3 for the night. I think that's enough.
Yeah,
Well.
take a breath.
Yeah, but get excited about it.
No, it's a good channel to watch. It really is. Guy dropped my subscription to Mile Railroader.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
all.
I
I
don't
keep
get
the
nothing
hard.
other than that magazine.
Yeah, I keep the hardcover magazine coming in. In fact, I got 5-year subscription on it now. But as far as all the extra stuff, I can't see paying for stuff that you're going to find in the magazine anyway.
Yeah, now I get the iPad version now. I did drop my physical copy a few years ago, but I've had it for knocking on 30 years, so it's hard to let go of getting it. But it's not good. I can read a Model Railroader magazine in 5 minutes and I won't look at it again. And a Model Railroader hobbyist, I will go back and back and back and look at those episodes and stuff. And I'm building some things like some trees and stuff out of one of those magazines. And I have
Yeah.
kept going back to that one article over and over and over again. It is an invaluable resource.
Model Railroad Hobbyist is good.
Yeah.
I've got the Model Railroader hard copy. I got the Railroad Model Craftsman hard copy. I got N Scale hard copy. I've got there's one other one running around here.
RMC has come around. This latest the latest RMC,
Yeah.
White River or whatever has totally bailed them out. That was a great magazine years ago, and I have every belief it is now a great magazine again. This most recent episode is first class.
Yeah, yeah.
Which one is that again?
Railroad Model Craftsman.
Yeah. Get the most recent episode, even if you just want off it or whatever. And they're kind of tech savvy, so they very likely might have a web version. I don't even know if they might even have a web version now, but they might very well. If they don't, they'll have one soon. So I need to look to see if they have a web version. But yeah, the most recent episode, great.
All right. Well, it's done reached the bewitching hour, so let me see if I can get this screen share going again the right way this time.
Yeah, it's the other button.
Yeah. No, I clicked on the wrong icon there to start with. All right. Well, have everybody keep checking back on the YouTubeModelBuilders.com website for all the latest news and info on presentations, the Tuesday night presentations, eMag, and the live show schedules. The e-magazine is bi-monthly. Live shows are once a month. Third Saturday is the usual schedule for the live show. Tuesday night presentations are obviously every week. Uh, you can go to the website, youtubemobbuilders.com. All the schedules are posted there, so you can see what presentation is going on for Tuesday night, who the moderator is, what the guests are. The live show schedules are there, so you see what the live show's about, who's going to be on it. I want to thank everybody for joining tonight's presentation. It's been another good one. We've covered a pretty wide variety of subjects tonight, and no arguments for a change. Or heated debates, I guess, because Donald Trump wasn't here.
We still got time. Give us about 3 minutes. We'll throw one together, and then you can end it.
Yeah. Nah.
Nah.
When is this build contest end?
Sometime in September. That's also on the website too. 'Cause we do sponsor that one. And but I do want to thank everybody for joining in on the panel. I'd like to thank all the viewers too. Not too many people had any questions tonight, but yeah, I guess they're more interested in just watching. We'll have to get you back in here a little bit earlier there, Dave.
Yeah, I'm watching the debate, man. That's important.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. Appreciate y'all's input and discussion. So we'll see y'all next Thursday, same time, same channel. So everybody be good.